Tickety-Boo News. This is from Stephen Moore, the economist and Trump supporter. He says the Energy Information Administration reports that the U.S. could surpass Saudi Arabia in oil and gas by the end of the year. With massive oil and gas shale reserves, we could be number one in the world before the end of the decade. The Wall Street Journal confirms that U.S. oil production is expected this year to surpass Saudi Arabia's and that we will rival Russia for number one in the world. American production will rise to almost 11 million barrels a day, the most ever in American history. Doesn't it seem like yesterday when the left was running around shrieking about peak oil? More like peak idiocy. Last week, Reuters argued that the American shale boom should be called Donald Trump's revenge. The story reported that U.S. oil now floods Europe at the expense of OPEC and Russia. It couldn't have happened to a couple of nicer guys. America is now selling more than a half million barrels a day, thanks in no small part to the end of the oil and gas export ban in 2016. What all of this means is that we are getting very close to the day when America returns to becoming a net exporter of oil. This would reduce our trade deficit by more than $200 billion a year. Saudi Arabia is still a major player in the market that can move the world price by turning on and off spigots, which is why we've had this recent spike in gas prices to more than $3 a gallon, and that's due to Russia and Saudi Arabia's production cuts. But the OPEC nations can no longer hold the world hostage as they did in the 1970s when we had gasoline lines and price controls and had to bow to the Saudi oil sheiks. This is great news, and you know why? You know why it happened? It happened because we have property rights. It happened because you can own the land beneath the land. And so it made sense for capitalists to develop fracking to get out that extra energy. And that is why it is happening. It's because of capitalism. Capitalism produces stuff. Socialism lives off the stuff that capitalism produces because they're parasites and bullies. I'm Andrew Klavan. This is the Andrew Klavan Show. Tomorrow, last day before the Klavanless Week, store up supplies. You're going to need them. I'll see you then.
Oh, hooray, hurrah.
The Andrew Klavan Show is produced by Robert Sterling. Executive producer, Jeremy Boring. Senior producer, Jonathan Hay. Our supervising producer is Mathis Glover. Technical producer, Austin Stevens. Edited by Alex Zingaro. Audio is mixed by Mike Cormina. Hair and makeup is by Jesua Alvera. And our animations are by Cynthia Angulo and Jacob Jackson. The Andrew Klavan Show is a Daily Wire Forward Publishing production. Copyright Forward Publishing 2018.